Today I brought my son to a park in the center of town. It's a park with a large grassy area and a playground to the side with a bunch of equipment children can play on. There are signs at two different entrances to this park which clearly indicate that dogs must be leashed and that you must pick up your dog's poop. There were about 20 children playing on the equipment, and I was standing there watching my son. I am always on high alert at this park because whenever I'm there, without fail, I always spot dogs off leash. I'll even witness dog owners walking their off leash dogs around the perimeter of the play area, beckoning the kids to come pet their dogs, like shady drug dealers prowling around trying to get the children hooked onto the latest new drug. I've even had to ask dog owners to leash their dog when the dog ventured into the middle of the play area to sniff the kids. Every time this happens, the owner always huffs and rolls their eyes as though I am being unreasonable. Sometimes they get upset with me and say things like, "She's just a small dog, God," then walk off telling their friend or partner what a bitch I am, loud enough so that I can hear, as though I am out of line for asking them to obey the law. So going to the playground is never fun for me, because not only am I worried about my son's physical safety with all these off-leash dogs running around, I'm always primed and ready for a confrontation with dog owners. So I was standing there today as my son was happily playing, and I was scanning around the park like I always do, when I saw a man accompanied by two kids and a Labrador retriever. He was a distance away, on the grass, and his dog was leashed. What happened next is something I see a lot, which infuriates me. The dog hunched over and proceeded to drop a few large turds. It was a massive dump. I watched and waited to see if the owner was going to pick it up. He did not. He simply walked away without a care in the world. The smell of the dog's feces was carried on the breeze and reached my nose. I saw people eating at the picnic table and felt glad I was not eating. It was horrible, and it prompted me to make this video. I thought about running after him, yelling at him to pick up his dog's crap. But my son was having such a great time, I didn't want to spoil our time together. He has seen me get into confrontations with irresponsible dog owners in the past, and it was upsetting for him. I also knew no good would come from a confrontation. I know that it can be very dangerous to confront owners. In a future video, I will talk about how dog owners routinely assault and even kill people who ask them to leash or otherwise control their dogs. They frequently respond with aggression when you confront them about their dogs, so I chose not to approach this man. I do hope that he and people like him will one day watch this video. I don't think he is aware of how dog waste is affecting the environment and the risk it poses to human health. I think most dog owners are under the impression their dog's waste is no more harmful than bird poop or squirrel poop. If other animals poop outside, why can't their dogs? Well, why can't people poop outside? Dog feces actually poses more of a threat to us than human feces. It contains more harmful bacteria and parasites. Why? Because dogs are scavengers and humans are not. We don't happily munch on poop, dead, rotting animals, garbage, and anuses. Dogs do. And that is why they are so full of filth and disease. That is why their waste is so dangerous to us. When dog owners neglect to pick up after their animals, pet waste gets left behind and can wash into storm drains. The waste then becomes a pollutant in the runoff that drains into local waterways, lakes, rivers, estuaries, bays, or the ocean. On land, as well as in the water, the waste left by our pets can spread harmful diseases through numerous types of bacteria and parasites. Even if the owners pick up their dog's poop, there are always going to be traces left behind. Also, when your dog has diarrhea, there's really no way to pick that up. So even as a responsible owner who picks up after your dog, your animal is still contaminating the environment with feces, no matter what you do. Important to remember too is that many of these bacteria and parasitic eggs can survive in the water or soil for weeks or months, even on a patch of grass or sand that looks clean. It isn't safe to have a picnic on the grass anywhere. With people bringing their dogs to beaches, we are all at risk. even if the sand looks clean. Human diseases transmitted by bacteria in dog poop include campylobacteriosis. Symptoms include diarrhea, cramping, abdominal pain, and fever. The illness typically lasts 1 week, but for people with compromised immune systems, this bacteria can spread to the bloodstream, resulting in a life-threatening infection. E. coli lives in the intestines of many animals, including dogs. Symptoms include stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever. For people with weakened immune systems, E. coli infection can result in death. Salmonellosis is the most common bacterial infection transmitted to humans by other animals, including dogs. Symptoms include fever, muscle aches, headache, vomiting, and diarrhea. Yersiniosis is another bacterial disease that can cause intestinal infections in people. Yersinia can multiply in cold water, unlike many other bacteria, and may be found in elevated numbers in ponds, puddles, and lakes as they thaw in the spring. Parasitic infections that can be transmitted to humans from dog poop include cyclospora, which incubates in the body for a week and then causes gastroenteritis that can wax and wane for over a month. Cryptosporidium and Giardia are microscopic parasites found in water. They can cause intestinal diseases like giardiasis or beaver fever and cryptosporidiosis. Roundworm, including hookworm and whipworm larvae, can migrate through the body to the brain, lungs, liver, kidneys, heart, or eyes. Roundworm larvae can cause blindness. I'll repeat that. Roundworm larvae can cause blindness. Eggs can live in the soil for several months. Tapeworms can infect humans through the pores of their skin or by being ingested. They attach to the intestines and absorb nutrients from their host. Hookworms infect humans by penetrating the skin. This is most likely to occur when walking barefoot on the beach, working in the garden, or other areas where dogs may deposit feces. Almost all dogs will have some level of worms. Mostly they shed eggs which are microscopic and too small for us to see. If infected by a small number of worms, a dog can show no symptoms and will appear healthy, but is still pooping out eggs and infecting the surrounding environment. If we come into contact with those microscopic eggs, we can get infected. So the risk from dog poop is more than just getting it on your shoes. It infuriates me when newspapers talk about it in toddler speak. They are talking to adults, but they always say, "doggy do." I can't stand it. We're talking about a serious threat to public health here. We shouldn't be talking about it like it's some cute, innocent thing. They're speaking to us as if we are children, or as if they're talking about children using this creepy child speak. They're talking about grown animals, not children. Grown animals that spread deadly disease. They're talking about excrement that has the potential to render us blind or even kill us. I wonder if they use this creepy cutesy child talk not because they think they're talking to children, but because they know their audience is extremely dumb. What the hell is going on here? Why is no one acknowledging what a serious issue this is? It isn't just dog feces that can spread disease, it's dog urine as well. Leptospirosis is a serious disease that is spread through the urine of infected animals. Wild animals, including skunks, raccoons, opossums, rats, wolves, and deer, can spread infection to dogs. We, in turn, can catch it from our dog's urine. When the bacteria that cause leptospirosis get into the water or soil, they can survive there for weeks to months. Like with parasites, your dog might be infected but not show any symptoms of having this disease. Signs and symptoms can range from none to mild, such as headaches, muscle pains, and fevers, to severe, with bleeding from the lungs or meningitis. The risk of death from this disease is 5 to 10%. Dog waste pollutes our water. Dog excrement left on the ground washes into waterways through storm drains. The waste then becomes a pollutant in lakes, rivers, estuaries, bays, or the ocean. Studies have traced 20 to 30% of the bacteria in water samples from urban watersheds to dog waste. Just 2 to 3 days of waste from 100 dogs can contribute enough bacteria, nitrogen, and phosphorus to close 20 miles of a bay watershed to swimming and shellfishing, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. So keep that in mind next time you're upset about not being able to swim at beaches that are closed due to bacteria in the water or toxic algal blooms. These harmful algal blooms are believed to be linked with an overabundance of phosphorus and nitrogen in the water, nutrients which are abundant in dog excrement. Research from the University of Minnesota points to lawn fertilizers and pet waste as the dominant sources of nitrogen and phosphorus pollutants in 7 sub-watersheds of the Mississippi River in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm putting a bunch of links in the description for you. Please read through them. Bacteria from dog waste can also get into the air we breathe. A recent study of air samples in Cleveland, Ohio and Detroit, Michigan found that 10 to 50% of the bacteria came from dog poop. An article on livescience.com published in 2014 states that America's 83 million pet dogs produce some 10.6 million tons of poop every year. That number has since gone up. In 2017, there were 89.7 million dogs, and there are even more than that now. But going with the 83 million figure, American dogs produce some 10.6 million tons of poop every year. Can you even wrap your head around how much that is? It's been calculated that that is enough poop to fill a line of fully loaded tractor trailers stretching from Seattle to Boston, according to Duty Calls, a Virginia-based pet waste pickup service. A cross-country line of tractor trailers we're talking about here, fully loaded with dog poop each year. And that was in 2014. The numbers are even higher today, 5 years later. Only about 60% of dog owners pick up after their pets, according to surveys. Among the excuses offered by the 40% who don't pick up, because it eventually goes away, too much work, small dog, small waste, it's in the woods, it's in my yard. So 40% of dog owners do not pick up their dog's poop. It's lying on the ground in places where children play, where people walk. Even if the owners do pick it up, there are always traces left behind. It's getting onto our shoes, we're dragging it into our homes, into our vehicles. Our towns and cities are basically giant dog toilets. Not only does dog waste transmit disease and pollute water, urine burn occurs when nitrogen found in dog's waste kills grass. Grass, which was lush and green, turns yellow and dies. All of this dying grass is very unsightly, and it takes away from the beauty and charm of our neighborhoods. When dogs pee on trees, their urine can cause what's called ammonium toxicity. The chemicals in urine can soak through the exterior bark and damage the tree's cambium, which lies underneath. This either kills the tree or impairs its growth. It's like cutting off a part of its circulatory system. A tree with a dysfunctional bark is easy prey to burrowing insects and diseases like bacterial wetwood. The tree's roots are also infected by dog urine. The salts in dog urine can create a crust on the soil, which makes it almost impossible for water to penetrate into the soil. Salt also draws out water from tree roots, further compounding water loss and simulating the effects of drought. These problems are exacerbated because dog urine attracts more dogs to do the same. These dying and diseased trees are unsightly to look at and are ruining the aesthetic of our neighborhoods. Unlike human poop, dog poop is left untreated. It goes straight to landfill and becomes a major contributor to the methane gas that comes out of landfill. Anyone concerned about greenhouse gases will see a big problem with this. Remember the amount of waste we are talking about here. A line of filled tractor trailers stretching from Seattle to Boston. filled every 365 days. And then there's the problem of the plastic bags people put their dog's poop in. People are trying to eliminate plastic from their life because they're becoming more environmentally conscious. Plastic is not biodegradable, and everyone recognizes that as a problem. They want to protect the environment. That's why some communities are banning single-use plastic bags. Some entire countries have banned disposable plastic bags, including Italy, China, Bangladesh, and many countries in Africa, including Rwanda, Kenya, the Congo, and South Africa. And yet, here are all these people proudly owning dogs and using plastic bags to pick up their poop. Let's refresh our memories again and recall how much dog crap is produced every year in the United States alone. We are talking enough shit to fill a line of tractor trailers stretching from coast to coast. Filled to the brim every 365 days, filled anew, with 60% of dog owners picking it up and putting it into plastic bags. Just imagine how much plastic that is. Municipalities are installing poop bag dispensers at taxpayers' expense. That money would be much better spent on other things. I, for one, cannot stand the fact that my tax dollars are paying for these plastic poop bags, when instead that money could be helping the poor or the sick, or helping to improve schools or hospitals or infrastructure, which would benefit the entire society. Instead, it's being wasted on stinking, pea-brained, shit-eating, crotch-sniffing, leg-humping child maulers. Insane. Dog waste presents several problems for municipalities, including overuse of landfills, contamination of recycling bins, and ballooning labor costs in parks. Some cities report that as much as 97% of their recycling containers are contaminated by pet waste, with all of that potentially recyclable material then destined for the landfill. Dog crap is littering our hiking trails to such a degree now that many people I know who used to find great pleasure in going for walks in nature don't go hiking anymore. Not only is it repulsive to see mounds of excrement lying everywhere, it stinks. One does not feel they are enjoying the fresh air when they are breathing in the stench of dog feces. It ruins the experience of walking in the woods when you have to constantly watch your step so as not to step in it. So people are being robbed of experiences they used to enjoy, and they're not being as physically active as they used to be. Dog owners frequently say, well, wild animals crap in the environment, so what's the big deal? Due to dogs' stomach enzymes and diets, their waste is different from that of wild animals, containing incredibly high concentrations of nitrogen and phosphorus. These are the nutrients that kill grass and trees and feed harmful algal blooms in our waters that then become off limits for swimming. Wild animals are not walking through our towns and cities crapping all over the place. When they do, and when it poses a threat to public health, we recognize it as a problem and we try to do something about it. For example, communities large and small are taking action to get rid of Canada geese, which are polluting parks and beaches with their poop, which also transmits disease. We don't welcome these disease-carrying animals into our homes and call them family. We recognize them as a threat to our health, and we drive them out of our territory. Why are we not doing the same with dogs? Dog owners also say, humans are contributing more to water pollution than dogs are, so focus on that. Or, last time I checked, humans spread more disease than dogs do. That's like saying, industries do more harm to the environment than individuals do, so quit encouraging people to recycle. That's crazy. Caring about one issue does not mean you can't care about another issue. Of course, we should be trying to reduce human sources of water pollution. But the fact that harm is being done is no justification to do even more harm. We should be trying to reduce harm in any and every way we can. And what can we do? What is within the scope of our abilities? Do I have the power to stop large corporations from polluting our water? No. Do I have the power to not own a dog and thereby not contribute to this massive problem? Yes. And so do you.